Good afternoon. My name is Daniel. I'm from Ghana. Many of our countries, as you're aware, like Ghana in particular, tell you that, our emissions are not much. Small country, we don't emit much, and CO2 argument doesn't make sense to us. So we've been finding out opportunities or options to up the arguments in my country for more action. And we feel that this is a very interesting exercise to do to really add value to the conversation in my country. So we set out to quantify or do an inventory of the greenhouse gases and the short-lived pollutants in my country. That was a first step. And it enabled us to have everything in one dashboard. So one spreadsheet containing both the inventory results of the greenhouse gases and the short-lived pollutants at a go. And that was not the end, because then usually that was the end. Then the emissions would be the basis for policy making. But we also had a chance to take one step forward to look at the benefits that come with the impact of measures that we are able to implement. So we also looked at the co-benefits or the multiple benefits of these actions in terms of health and crop. And that is, to us, a very important part of the story. And also the fact that in doing so, we are looking at benefits that is really local, or tackling local air pollution is very important and benefit the Ghanaians first. The benefits are rapid and it can really be felt by the people in the country. That's for us, it's also a very important part of the conversation. And the fact that it could also have a long-term benefit in terms of global contribution to the conversation of climate change. So this, we thought, was trying to cover all the aspects of the argument beyond what normally is a CO2 argument or cut emissions, introduce renewables, and that will be the end of the story. So that is the whole exercise. So we then define the gases that we have to cover. And obviously, we have to cover both the normal ones, the usual suspects, the CH4, the CO2, the NOxes, and added the new ones that were not part of it. So we define the gases. And then we also, as I said earlier, also indicate the fact that these gases had both long and near-term benefits or effects once it is looked into. And also the fact that the accounting was done, or the inventory was done at a national level. Jogan indicated that we could do it at different scales, but we were looking at a national level, sectoral level as well. And the time frame was between 2010 and 2014. But that was a very interesting exercise, because that was the first time we were trying to bring the local air pollution community in my country and the climate community in my country together to talk. And that journey was a very interesting journey. And I think that's a story for another day. But that really happened. We were able to manage to bring the entire infrastructure on the ground for air quality measurement and the co-community and the health community together to talk with the climate people who happens to be at the policy level, who normally travel to these COPs, don't come back to us and talk to us. So that was the whole thing. And then together we designed 5 very important scenarios based on different possible policy packages, based on different SLCP and GHG reduction interventions. We came up with these very fine measures. But these are measures that defined different possible scenarios. One scenario where government policies themselves fail, one scenario indicating where government's own already committed policies work, what we call the policy success, and policy and additional scenarios that depicted where government will do more beyond what it said it will do. So these were the 5 main policies that we defined, on the basis of which we set out what is called the incremental ambition of these different scenarios. And we did this in the LEAP IBC tool, which was developed by the SCI. So this is one example. So on a normal day, under the GHG inventory process, we would have accounted for flare gases from these activities, right? And that will be added to the waste sector accounting table, and that will be added into the GHG inventory report, and that report will be reviewed through the ICA process, and then that will be published. That will be the end. But how about this? Same activity, but you could do more with this. And that would not take any additional infrastructure on the ground. The same team, the same data set, but different results. And different value addition of the message. So for us, that is very, very critical that this is a very common activity in my country. The impact is not only those that relate to greenhouse gases, but there are also very important local air pollution matters that were typically not reported by the climate community. But unfortunately, it is the same ministry that has the same money to address this problem. So it makes sense to really bring out the bigger picture than to limit it to the GHG benefits. So as I said, that we realize that this doesn't require any additional institutional arrangement or new set of data. It's simply making use of the existing infrastructure, data sets, the institutional arrangement to do this work. And that is what I want to emphasize today, that countries like us can do this without having to sweat about thinking of setting up a power structure in your country. It makes sense to use what is already working on the ground. And we use the same GHG inventory people and institutions working in my country to do this work. What is different was the scope of work. So we came out with these policy packages. Sorry if you can't see from the back, but I'm sure you can see. So these are the one in the middle here is the list of the possible abatement measures that fitted into ones that already were captured in the NDCs. Very interesting. That's a powerful way of doing it, that already these measures were already covered by our NDCs. And in our NDC, the core benefits of the NDCs on air quality were not reported or were not captured. And also the local air pollution measures that were introduced by the local air quality community were not also captured. So this was a way to really bring these two stories together. So these were the measures, and as I said, the measures could fit into our NDC measures as well as the SLCP measures. And that cut across almost all the sectors. And guess what happened? We could really, for the first time, bring this to our policymakers and say, hey guys, if you do this, these are the direct benefits that you get in your country, in a country. And it is very efficient, effective, it's local, it is near term. And it is a very powerful way of using public policy to help Ghanaians first. I'm sure this already speaks for itself. So to us, it's a powerful way of convincing people to take action on the ground. So I will not belabor on the health benefit, the crop benefit, and also our however small contribution to avoiding the 2-degree dangerous global goal. It's a small contribution. So this is, you remember the 5 scenarios that I mentioned earlier, that you could also depict the results this way, that even with black carbon or black suits, the pathways are such that the NDCs are even much more relevant to local air pollution. And even beyond the NDCs, the taking additional measures are even much more ambitious beyond the NDCs in my country. And guess what? CH4, same story. CO2, same story. That it makes sense to combine the measures that are both relevant to dealing with CO2 and at the same time pitching about the co-benefits of these measures as well. But it's not only about emission reductions, it's also about the as I said, our small contribution to the globe towards attaining the 2-degree goal as well. And always the AP plus is the most ambitious package of the scenario as compared to the current policy failure where government's own policies are not implemented. So there's every reason to really seek to avoid the policy failure scenario and move towards the most ambitious pathway, even in Ghana. I'm sure the same is with crop losses as well. So I'll end with my last slide. This slide is, for me, is very important. That's, I think it's a very important way of communication to policymakers from different ministries in my country, especially Ministry of Finance, who have the resources. It is also a very practical way of putting human face to the conversation of climate change. I'll talk about the second one. I mentioned Minister of Finance because in my country, most of the resources are not with the Minister of Environment where I work. It's with the Minister of Finance. And they appear to be at the far end of the table. And this is one of the, I think this is one of the ways to really bring them back to the center of the pitch and really commit to take action. The last one is also very important at the sub-region. If Ghana is to do its part, and our colleagues in Nigeria, Benin, and Nigeria are not able to do their part, then the result will not be as powerful as Ghana only doing it. And we think that this is a very powerful way of advocating for rapid action in the sub-region, the West Africa sub-region. And it's a most effective way of also elevating people from poverty. Okay, thank you very much.